Hello guys, this is your first offline video, and in this video we will be covering what is Tailwind CSS and how to integrate Tailwind CSS and what are the benefits of using Tailwind in your project or any app that you use in your front end. So for the most of the theory part, you just need to know that Tailwind CSS is yet another way to write CSS in your JSX file. So in previous classes, we have already discussed what a JSX file is, right? It looks something like this. Uh, we will write Tailwind CSS within this document rather than creating another app.css file or an index.css file. So this is how we will integrate, and this is your first offline video. I make such videos just to reduce the number of classes that we eventually will be taking. So in order to do that, this is something which is required to make fast your development process, but it is not the part of React, so I am covering it uh, you know separately from the main course that we are following. Okay, in the main course, if you remember, we I have already reached up till here. Now if you are already uh, done with this particular code that we have covered in the previous classes, I would urge you to open this in your VS Code and run it locally by using npm run app that we have already discussed. So for instance, your app will look something like this. Now what we have to do, we have to install something called as Tailwind CSS. So open your browser first and just search Tailwind CSS, and you will find a page like this. You can you just click on the first link and go to docs here. Let me just And since we are using Vite as a bundler, there are so many ways. There is place CDN. What this CDN is, you can directly use Tailwind CSS in your HTML pages. Okay. Another framework guides are already present, which we do not need right now. We only need uh, using Vite because that's what we have done. Okay. So first is the create your project. Just code along whatever I'm doing. Just do again and again with me. Okay, and you're good to go. This thing we have already done. We have already created a project. It's not called my project. It is called, what it is called? It's called React classes, and within React classes we have a counter app for it. Okay, let me just put it here. Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to npm install Tailwind CSS and Tailwind Vite in it. So how would we do it? I think I should open VS Code. Let's just wait. VS Code ही खोल लेता हूँ मैं. Select your कहाँ गया? Yeah, React classes, and I will open my terminal with Control tilde, and you will see right now I'm in React classes directory, but I have to change it to counter app. So what would I do is I will type change directory. CD stands for change directory, and then I press you can either type counter or you can just press tab. It will automatically get it, and just press enter. Now you're inside your counter app. So first thing that you have to do is you have already created this, okay, and you have already now you're already in your app. So now you have to copy this command npm install Tailwind CSS and this Vite anything, and just Control Shift V here. This will paste the command, and if you are not going with the keyboard shortcuts, just press right click and paste here. Both will do the same thing. Okay, wait for it. It will probably create few files, and it will add something in your package.json. As you can see, there is Tailwind Vite and Tailwind CSS, which we have just downloaded. Okay, so following the next step, it called configure the Vite plugin in Vite config.ts file. In the class when I told you about the folder structure, I told you not to look at to this Vite config and this package.json and all of those sort of files. But as we go along, we will see all those type of things, these files, and what do they does. Okay. So this what v.config.js does is it is just a configuration file for your v to understand what else you are using. Okay, what extra functionality you are adding manually to your React app. Okay, so by default, as you can see, this Vite bundler is enabled only for React, but we have to enable also it for Tailwind CSS. So just copy these two commands, import Tailwind CSS, paste it here, right? First thing, why isn't it taking? Paste it here. Another thing is we have to add Tailwind as a plugin also. Okay, so just add Tailwind as a plugin here, comma Tailwind as a plugin. Yeah, and you are pretty much good to go. And another thing that we have to do is add an import to your CSS file that imports Tailwind CSS. Okay, just copy this command and go to your index.css. This will do the work. You can delete app.css, doesn't matter, and write @import tailwind css. Yes, tailwind css. Yeah, and you are pretty much good to go. Now one thing to notice here is, let me just close this thing first. Right quit. Yeah, quit. Cannot write buff tab option is set. What the heck? Alright, let me just also clean it. Okay, so let's just run this app. You can run the particular app using the command npm run dev. Alright, so after pasting this command in your, you can also paste this in your app.csx, but since we are not importing app.csx anywhere, so it's probably, if you want, you can add, there's no much need of it, right? So now your app should work fine, and you can, as you can see, it's pretty much ugly. It has become even more ugly than that, but that is the, you can say, one of the faidas of using Tailwind CSS. Now how can you write Tailwind CSS? The question is very simple and the answer is very simple. There is, by using this particular plugin, okay, we are enabled to write some lines of code directly in your HTML tags. Okay, if you're familiar with inline styling that we do in index.html, you have probably done this in your development journey. You have written something as style, then you have provided some width to it, like max content. Maybe you have done this whenever writing this style thing. This is called as inline styling. So you can do something similar like this by using Tailwind CSS also. Just write class name, and if you have installed and configured Tailwind really well without any errors, you will see a suggestion like this, class name, which is an HTML attribute, or you don't need this. Okay, just press this, and if I say border, okay, border bg, border black, okay, so you will see it will add a border here. Okay, now if I add this, if I do this, and I can give padding y padding to be 10, padding x to be 10, and it will become bigger, right? So there is nothing much to teach about Tailwind CSS, but the thing is, whatever classes that you can write in your CSS file, you can write those things in Tailwind CSS, but you won't be writing something. If you hover over it, you will see your native CSS classes. See the border, how you write the border, dot border and border width, you give a border width. Okay, there are some properties of it. Border black, you give border color. This is how this framework works. You only write few shortcuts, and under the hood, this plugin takes care of all of it. Okay, just like React takes care of your DOM manipulation part. Similarly, Tailwind CSS takes care of your managing CSS. You only just writing CSS part, uh, some shortcuts. So rather than writing, you know, uh, let's suppose .p uh, padding 10px, write this like this. What you can do is, up in here you can just write mm, class name padding to be 10 pixel, right? And it will do the same thing. Okay, it will do the same thing. Okay, so yeah, this eventually there is nothing pretty much to explain you. You can increase the text size by 2 XL font bold. You can do some very sort of things like this. Okay, now you will see there is an increase in the text size. So whatever classes that you can write in CSS file, you can write it using Tailwind CSS. Okay, every single class, every single combination of classes that you can write in CSS, you can write it in Tailwind CSS. Nothing to worry about it. Okay, so from the next class, maybe from in few more classes, I will be writing class names, and I want you to get familiar with it. And it's fairly easy. uh, it will probably take a half an hour for you to understand, and if you go through the documentation, you will easily understand how whatever things that you can do in your classes, you can use flex also. Okay, but rather than writing flex, direction column in flex properties, you just write things like this. You write, if I go to flex, okay, you write flex auto, okay, you write flex initial, flex none, which is, and you can say it is a shortcut for writing something like this. Okay, similarly, this flex initial is a shortcut for writing something like flex zero auto. Okay, so all of these type of things you get when you use Tailwind CSS. So I think this is pretty much of it. You can ponder upon it, and it is fairly easy for anyone to understand any CSS framework, and Tailwind is one of the framework. Before Tailwind there was Bootstrap. People use Bootstrap, but nowadays Bootstrap is, I don't see Bootstrap anymore. So okay, I guess that is it for this particular session. Meet you in the next session.